Deep into VVAL play, league pennant hopes are still bright for purple and white, but a vital game tonight against Sonoma Valley. And a very good evening from Steve Ellison Field. I'm Griffin Epstein. We have a very important Vine Valley Athletic League game here on this MLK Monday night. Both teams, Sonoma and Petaluma, halfway through league play, and the Trojans currently a game back of first place, but very much still in contention for their first ever VVAL league pennant, but a very much a sleeper in the Sonoma Valley Dragons, who currently sit at third behind Casa and Petaluma. The Dragons hoping to come here to Petaluma and pull off the upset over Sonoma. Petaluma also coming off one of its best performances of the season on Saturday night, so they definitely can't look past the Dragons tonight, or they might lose their hopes at a league pennant. Sonoma, Petaluma should be a good one here. It's all coming up next, right here on Trojan Live.
A healthy crowd has came out to a pleasant evening here at Steve Ellison Field. The sun has just set on this early or late January Monday evening. Sonoma currently sitting in third in VVAL. They're in the white. They're at 3-3-3 overall, 3-1-2 in league. They'll start with the ball facing Petaluma, who's yet to lose so far this year. They're 8-0-3, coming off a 1-1 draw to Marin Academy, who's ranked in the top 40 in the nation. This has all the looks of a letdown game for Petaluma after one of their most impressive performances on Saturday. Just 2 games later, this is a makeup game from last Wednesday, but a torrential storm knocked out power at much of school and was unreasonable to do anything outside. Trojans quickly knock it in, as Rocha's cross was swallowed up by the Dragon goalkeeper Rene Ball. If you're head coach Deegan Babala, you're going to want Petaluma to be aggressive here early, considering how this game looks like a letdown game, especially if you're a coach after their outstanding performance on Saturday. Trojans came from behind to stun Marin Academy Saturday afternoon in San Rafael. And they still remain without a loss on the year. Obviously, 2 Fridays ago, was able to remain on top of VVAL's Gogenauer. And no one on the end of that cross. We'll head out. 2 Fridays ago, Petaluma with a crazy come from behind draw against Casa Grande to remain tied at the top of VVAL with the Gauchos. The Gauchos are officially a game ahead, but that's only because they've played more games. Neither team has lost in VVAL. Both teams have drawn, and that was to each other. 1-1 is a horrible misplay there. Gogenauer off the side of the net. A misplay on the back end for the Dragons, and that is exactly who you don't want to give it to if you're Sonoma, the leading goal scorer for Petaluma. And so far, excellent energy by Petaluma. Hazel looking for Edwards. It's knocked out. Rocha sends it across, but there was no Trojan on the far post. If there had been, it would have been an easy goal. So 0-0, 3 minutes gone here. Petaluma pressing very hard here early, and Sonoma quickly has been on the defense. The Dragons have been quite competitive in the VVAL under head coach Mike Verdu. They had a rough start to the year, playing some big schools, Maria Carrillo and Annalee. But besides a 4-0 loss to Casa Grande, Dragons without a loss in the Vine Valley Athletic League. Dragons just need to clear it out here, get some of their own possession. They will just clear it back to this reliable Petaluma defense. That was so good on Saturday. Silvana Sessi had her career high in saves on Saturday with 15 under a barrage from Marin Academy. The freshman has really grown into her own. Played very well against Casa Grande 2 weeks ago as well. 10 saves in that game. really helped keep Petaluma in that game as well. Dragons knock it out. Petaluma thought their Achilles heel might be in the net after losing Clara Garcia back to Spain, who was a good goalkeeper for Petaluma last year. But Ceci has stepped up and probably been an upgrade in the net. It was Stundert getting it ahead to Young. Edwards, the junior, nearly wins it back. This is what the Dragons need here. More control in the middle 20 yards of the field. They're going to give themselves a better shot. Gogenauer ahead to Rocha. It's cleared, and ball's going to come out and scoop that one up. Trojans have been probing here early. No shots on goal just yet. But one mistake on the back end by Sonoma, and Petaluma could easily get one in the back of the net. Buchanan able to get it over to Barrett. Lambert, I should say. Sonoma on the counter, trying maybe to get some offense that way. That would be the smart way to go for the Dragons. A team that very much challenged Petaluma last year, and pretty similar teams. Dragons lost more experience from last year. Petaluma had no seniors on that team last year. Trojans returned 14 of their 21 current players on this 2018-19 roster. Nice control here by Sonoma Valley. That was Young. Young striker for the Dragons up top. But unable to control it. Frothinger, one of the junior captains for the Trojans, knocking it out. Battle, far end. Well, slow start for Sonoma. Looked a little bit overwhelmed against this tenacious and prolific attack of Petaluma, but after first couple trying minutes, the Dragons have calmed down, and we've got a ball game on our hands. 0-0 the score. 33 minutes remaining here in the first half from Steve Ellison Field, Sonoma and Petaluma. Lambert, so skilled, very experienced back end. Petaluma returns all 4 players from last year to start. The back. Hazel breaking that shot attempt up. Rocha to Rocha. It's Amanda Rocha to her twin Melissa. Muganum. Alondra Hernandez Ramirez, one of the 14 seniors on Petaluma. Sonoma just clears it away. Trojans have 3 games this week. It's another reason to look at this one as a trap game. There's a lot to look forward to. 3 games this week for Petaluma. And then next Wednesday night, Petaluma and Casa Grande. If the Trojans can get a victory here tonight, beat Justin Siena on the road on Wednesday, and come back here and beat a decent Vintage team who currently sits in 4th in VVAL. The Trojans beat Vintage 2-0 in Memorial Stadium last month. Petaluma and Casa, assuming Casa doesn't fall as well, would set up a winner-take-all for the Vine Valley Athletic League title on the east side. January 30th is the date of that one. Ganem falls down. A nice play to regain her both footing and composure. It's a slippery turf. There was a lot of rain yesterday here in Petaluma. It was a beautiful day today, but it's definitely going to be a little bit slippery. There's been a lot of precipitation in the last week. The Dragons getting 4. This one sent spiraling towards the bar. And Ceci just lets that one go out, but the Dragons have found their footing. And they're starting to get into the offensive action. Petaluma certainly missed out on some chances in those first couple minutes when the Dragons looked a little bit timid. They've gotten out of their lair. Rocha is just going to speed by everyone. One-on-one, and it's knocked away from behind. And it's almost an own goal. My goodness. Melissa Rocha nearly just outran the entire Dragon defense off the free kick from Lambert. Nice desperation defending by Sonoma, but then they almost kicked it into their own net. Trojan supporters laughing. They've seen that before. Dangerous cross. The Dragons clear it away. Sonoma doing a nice job staying back and holding on defensively. The question is how long can they do it, or can they turn it into some offense? They've given themselves a couple chances. Hazel will let it fly. It's knocked away. Excellent save by Ball. It's an active evening so far for goalkeeper Renee Ball, the new keeper for the Dragons this year. Petaluma will get its first shot on goal of the evening, but Ball has been active nonetheless. Third corner already for the Trojans as well, just 10 minutes gone. Frothinger will come up to win it. Lots of bodies in the box. Had a little bit of miscommunication, and Rocha unable to run it down. Good surge by the Trojans, but nothing comes of it. Dragons with one shot so far, looking for some speed on the flank. Rocha is going to be able to run it down first. And miss it by Muganum. That looked like a foul. This one is going to be sent in with no one on the end of it. We've seen a couple careless errors by Petaluma. They've been focused, no doubt, but I think there's some things Deegan Babal would like to see cleaned up. Petaluma certainly has to still be feeling high after their performance on Saturday afternoon in Marin County. What an exceptional effort by Edwards, looking for Rocha, but too far. Edwards did that herself. Off the knee, off the head. Playing it to herself. Couple Dragons, heads on a swivel, looking confused. Healthy amount of fans have turned out on both sides here tonight. It's not too cold, which is nice. We mentioned the weather was beautiful today. Finally a respite from the rain, and it looks like the rain should hold up for the next couple weeks. Petaluma is not going to have to deal with any more precipitation in their game, something they've had to deal with last couple weeks. It's just the reality of playing soccer in the winter, as California now does, both boys and girls, with the exception of some small schools. But if you want the opportunity to play state, you got to play now. And this Petaluma team, don't rule out them playing in state, especially after they just beat one of the best teams in the state, they drew with one of the best teams in the state in Marin Academy on Saturday. Ranked number 20 in the state, number 40 in the nation by Max Prep's computer ranking, obviously not totally accurate, but good approximation. Rocha sends in the cross. Guggenhauer was trying to get on the end of it, but it was really just kicked right to Ball. Guggenhauer, 8 goals, 3 assists. The senior striker for Petaluma, a clinical finish. She gets her foot on it. Edwards is tripped up. That will be a foul, I believe. I thought I saw the ref signaling something, but no whistle. The refs have kept their whistles in their pockets. Maybe taking a page out of the Rams-Saints game last night. Hernandez Ramirez. Nice interception by the Dragons. They've put some stress on this Trojan defense so far. Edwards bumped. Stays Trojan ball. Last year when these teams played, both in the Sonoma County League, Herman's out, Starkey in, or Barry in, I should say. Last year when these teams faced off, 2018, Petaluma won the first time 1-0 in a double overtime thriller as Petaluma scored a late goal to win that league affair. A couple weeks later, in Sonoma Valley, the Dragons got the revenge, or at least partial revenge, a 2-2 draw. Two very good games when these teams played last year. VVAL rules do not have it. You will not go to overtime if it's tied after 80 minutes. SCR rules differed. Frothinger, the defender, playing up. She's got a couple goals to her name so far this year. Dragons just booted out. 24 minutes remaining here in this first half. 0-0 the score, Sonoma Valley and Petaluma. Trojans without a loss on the year, trying to keep pace with the Gauchos atop VVAL. Trojans looking for Rocha. The Dragons, if they could pull off an upset, could suddenly put themselves in the conversation at the top of VVAL. It's booted into the seats. They had a slow start to the year, as we mentioned, but I think they've really found their footing. It's a young team. These Dragons had 6 seniors from last year they lost. Gaucho 6-0-1 in VVAL. Petaluma 4-0-1. The Dragons 3-1-2. As that ball is off the post and picked up by Ball. What a bizarre looking play, almost the second time. The Dragons have let one in their own net. Just trying to clear it. And just off the post. Ball alert, that one by a couple inches could have fallen in. Credit to this Trojan offense for providing attack, and the Dragons have almost panicked a couple times, but Petaluma hasn't been able to convert. Patient Dragons. Oh, not that time. Looking for Rocha, the heartbeat and soul of this Petaluma offense with her electric speed. The cross. It looked like Hazel was on the end of that one, but she just couldn't corral it. Hazel led Petaluma in scoring last year. Rocha leads Petaluma in assists this year. That's a good tandem, but the Trojans unable to hook up there. Hazel, taken away. Young in this Dragon offense just has not been able to keep possession of the ball a lot past midfield and get them too many opportunities. They've done a nice enough job not putting too much stress on their defense for the most part, besides a couple flurries of offensive activity. Young. Knocked away. She's on an island there. Needs some more help from her teammates. So we're approaching the halfway point of this first half. No score from Petaluma's Steve Ellison Field. A couple new amenities were just added today to the field. A little bit of signage. We'll show you in the second half. Just adding to the gorgeous scene. It's made this field so beautiful. Rocha, no one was there. Rest of the VVAL standings, Vintage at 2-3-2. Casa has just completed a sweep of the Crushers. Thought maybe they would be a little bit more competitive. They challenged Petaluma. Trojans only won 2-0. And both of those goals were scored in the second half. The Gauchos have ruled the Crushers. Petaluma will see Vintage on Friday here at Steve Ellison Field, and we'll be here for that one. Rocha looking for Edwards. Ball just clearing it away. She has been sturdy in net so far for Sonoma. Bottom of the VVAL standings, American Canyon, Justin Siena, and Napa. Very much the lower tier of the league. It kind of feels like it's separated into 3 tiers. Casa and Petaluma at the top, Sonoma and Vintage in the middle, and Justin Siena, American Canyon, and Napa in that bottom tier. But the Dragons hoping tonight they can ascend to that top level, and they've still got the return trip for both Petaluma and Casa Grande to Sonoma, though Sonoma's home games are actually played at Lucchese Park, which is certainly a disadvantage for the Dragons, but that's due to no artificial turf field for Sonoma Valley. They are the only school, at least a sizable school, I would say a school over 500 students that does not have an artificial turf field. Now, Bond's bound to come someday for Sonoma, but not yet. Rocha doing a nice job to throw it off the back of the Dragon defender. That was Jamie Pierce, the junior, for the Dragons back. Well, it looks like they're going to say Rocha stepped out of bounds first. So instead, it will be a goal kick. Dragons coming off a 9-9-1 year last year. They were 8-5-1 in Sonoma County League. Finished 4th behind Petaluma Annalee and Sonoma Academy. They were the 13 seed in NCS Division III, the same division Petaluma plays in, and lost to Drake 3-0. Lost 6 seniors from that team, but the rest of the squad returns for the Dragons. They've been pretty consistently. There's been some talent out of Sonoma. They've been competitive in Sonoma County League, and they certainly have in VVAL. Mike Verdue's done a good job with the Dragon program. Guggenhauer. You want to head on the end of that. That's too easy for Bell. She's not going to let an easy one in. Still no score here from Steve Ellison Field. The Trojans have been in control. But Sonoma has done a nice job with the little things. They're hanging around in this one, just waiting for a counterattack opportunity. We did see one mistake on the back end. Sonoma got a chance, a shot off. But it went wide of Sessi. Again, looking for Rocha. Does an excellent job, or I spoke too soon. Dragon ball. Alondra Hernandez Ramirez. Rodriguez. Guggenhauer's not much with her touch. She's much better with her finishing. That one sent in. Ball made that look far more adventurous than it needed to be. As Hazel got a foot on that. Nice play by Hernandez Ramirez. She's quietly one of the better players on this Petaluma team. Controlling that midfield so vital, especially to set up the Petaluma offense that's been so good so far this year. And avoiding putting too much pressure on your defense and keeper. And Hernandez Ramirez at the attacking mid. Such a big part of that for the purple and white. Crysdale looking for help. Rocha, the give and go. Dragons just have to clear it away. Petaluma quickly back into business. No one on the end of that one. I've said that a lot tonight. Sounds like a broken record, but right now that's how Petaluma's playing. Not being able to find that last touch. Head coach Deegan Babala, in his third year for Petaluma, has orchestrated a terrific program and has risen to new heights so far this year after an exceptional year last year. Returned 14 of 21 players. He knew this year was going to be special. Last year, 15-6-2, 10-2-2 in FCL to finish third. In a very good Sonoma County league, especially at the top. Finishing 250th in California, and Petaluma went to the quarterfinals of the NCS playoffs where they fell to Kennedy in a very tight one, 1-0. Senior Muganum will get a rest. Nicolette Starkey, another senior returner, will replace her. The Dragons for a rare time tonight inside Petaluma 30 in terms of the football yard markers on the field. It's not really official soccer terminology, but easy to apply here. Rocha. Almost too fancy for herself. Now this field is slippery. Both teams seeing it. Now we have a spectacular moon rising. We're going to show you this in a moment. I saw a large glowing orb. That is the moon. Last night a eclipse, it was bleeding. I don't know what you call this moon, but it is a harvest moon, I guess. Orange. Absolutely spectacular. Last night it was bleeding red. Night descended here at Petaluma High. Petaluma have some energy to get out of their nighttime doldrums that they've been in these first 25 minutes. They've controlled play, but just not really looked like they've been able to put all the finishing pieces together to score here early. "14 minutes remaining in the first half. No score. Sonoma Valley and Petaluma. Third place versus second place in VVAL. Vital game for the Trojans' hopes of their first ever Vine Valley Athletic League pennant. Back to Crysdale. Crysdale gives it a go. She's about 10 yards right. Not that time. 4 goals for Crysdale. She certainly has the ability. At that time, off the mark. Petaluma finds someone to get on the end of this. Barry with 5 goals on the year, but we haven't seen too much play from Barry yet. Edwards. Excellent headers, excellent defense by Sonoma Valley tonight. Credit to the Dragons. They have frustrated Petaluma here early. Alondra Hernandez Ramirez back to her defense, and Nicolette Starkey. Hazel got it taken away. The Dragons might have numbers here. You're hoping for a break, and this could be it. Numbers here for Sonoma. Fire towards Ceci, but there's not much sauce on that to scare the freshman. A better offense by Sonoma. You see the danger. The way Petaluma's game plan is starting to push more people forward to try to score here. The Trojans cannot afford a draw tonight. If they draw with Sonoma, no matter the score, it's going to very much put them behind the 8 ball in the race for Casa Grande at the top of the league. If they beat the Gauchos, they would still win the league outright, assuming no other team lost. But we don't really want to get into all the math. The point is here, Petaluma wants a win tonight. Rocha Alondra Hernandez Ramirez. Dragons just one loss in their last 6 games. Petaluma hasn't lost all year yet in 11 games, 3 draws. Also had a 0-0 game against Terralinda down in Marin. Trojans came back to beat El Cerrito 3-2. That might be their best victory of the season. Petaluma is going to make a couple substitutions. Trojans also knocked off Santa Rosa 2-1. Impressive victory over Rancho Cotati 3-0. We were here for their season opener, a mauling of Dianza 9-0. Petaluma hasn't had too much trouble against the bottom feeders of VVAL, which they've already played each one time around, as this is the halfway point for both Sonoma and Petaluma in the league play. Trojans killed Justin Santa 9-0, who they play on Wednesday. Hazel was looking for Rocha, but that's not a smart pass. She was totally covered up. Petaluma needs to be a little bit more patient here. They're pushing right now. They've got plenty of time, and they have the talent to connect. Ball able to run out. That was Rodriguez trying to make things interesting for the Trojans. I was saying Petaluma beat Vintage 2-0. It was actually 3-0. 4-0 over American Canyon. And last Monday, 6-1 over Napa at Memorial Stadium. Rodriguez back to Hernandez Ramirez. Looking for Rocha. That's some of the sloppiness we've seen so far tonight from Petaluma. Not passing characteristic of this highly technical team, coming off a exceptional defensive effort to keep Marin Academy out of the net after allowing an early goal. And Petaluma in the second half getting the equalizer to stun Marin Academy, who had only had 1 game all year that they had not won. They had beat every team they played except for their league opener, Marin Academy. They lost to Cardinal Newman. The Trojans went down and stunned one of the top teams in the Bay Area. We've got 8 minutes and change remaining in this first half and still no score. The beautiful harvest moon rising over Steve Ellison Field. This 3-day weekend coming to a close. Rocha spins, turns, ball with the save. It's cleared away. Barry was in the area on the rebound, but nice defensive play by the Dragons to clear it, and ball comes up big again. Trojans finally able to get something in the middle of the pitch, inside the box, and not just sending crosses and hope for a connection. I think that's what Petaluma needs to get more of. I've been resigned to try to go through the wings and hope they can get a header on a cross. Here's a cross through a corner. And again, it's not there. Frothinger, one of the 4 co-captains, experienced Petaluma team. Get into this rhythm of passing here. Start to build something forward. A tiki-taka rhythm of Spain, we always talk about, made so famous. That passing rhythm can build something up. It'll look like Petaluma might get something going, but not that time. It's out on the south end zone. Healthy crowd made their way about 20 minutes west from Sonoma Valley, filling the road stands. Petaluma with probably about 100, 150 supporters out on the home bleachers. hoping to watch Petaluma continue their march towards history, they hope. A first ever VVAL title. Knocked out. Also an important game in terms of NCS as well. Petaluma made a statement to the NCS committee with their performance on Saturday, but you want to back that up the rest of the way. The Trojans currently sit in second, projected in NCS Division 3 by Max Preps. That's computer, not a committee. But if the Trojans can win VVAL after their victory over Moraine Academy, it's hard to not see them being the #1 seed. They're currently just a couple computer algorithm points behind Miramonte out of Lafayette for that top spot in NCS Division 3. They'd love a #1 seed. And that would mean they would get home field advantage all the way to a potential championship game in the NCS Division 3 playoffs. And Petaluma certainly believes they can compete for an NCS title as well. It's very doable this year. It's not a strong section, similar to last year. It wasn't either. Petaluma nearly made it to the semifinals. Nice play by the Dragons, and as we approach the 5-minute mark, Sonoma has things going here again. Haven't had too many opportunities here tonight, mostly on the counterattack for Sonoma Valley. Really, for the first time, they're going to be able to get some warm bodies into the box. Hernandez Ramirez, an exceptional game. She knocks it away. The Dragons get it right back in. Looking to take the lead. Right to Sessi. Looking for Rocha, but a little bit too far that time. Rocha down the middle instead of out wide is a much more lucrative option for Petaluma's scoring. And just something you cannot allow if you're Sonoma Valley. Trojans almost hooked up with their speedster. This time they almost did as well. Ball. What a night so far for her. Again coming out, reading the passing. And if she didn't decide to make the risky decision to come out, she was going to be mano-a-mano with Rocha. Not a fun prospect for any goalkeeper. Much less a first-year starter. Crysdale. Senior Captain Hazel. That's the sloppiness that you worried about from the start. We mentioned in the open about this being a trap game for a variety of reasons for Petaluma. Barry. Crysdale came speeding in like a speedster on a highway chase, but unable to corral it. Nice battle by the Dragons. Their bench loud and encouraging. They have played excellent soccer. He's first approaching 40 minutes of this one. Looking for their biggest result of the year. Barry out, Rocha, Amanda, that would be back in for Petaluma. Hazel, the talented Frothinger. Frothinger's been leading a lot of the offense, but Petaluma has looked down the right side and down the right side. Coach Babal has talked about it, trying to mix up the offense. You're not just relying on one play. As the Dragons knock it away, reach the 2-minute mark. Alondra Hernandez Ramirez, ambitious. She's been the best player for Petaluma, the senior midfielder. She doesn't have a goal on the year. But the way she's playing tonight, can't doubt her giving it a shot from 30 yards out. We're under 2 minutes. Clock stops in the stadium, and it's all up to the referee at his discretion how much time is remaining in this first half before we'll take a break for intermission and look towards a second 40 minutes to decide this one between the two old SCL foes in this new VVAL. Looking to Rocha, but again, too far. Again, right down the middle. Our Dragons have been one-on-one with her, and it's been awfully dangerous. It's really playing with fire right now if you're Sonoma, and you wonder if head coach Mike Verdew might make some adjustments at halftime. Put two players, find whoever's your speediest player to stay on Rocha, because she is getting free. Petaluma just hasn't been able to get the finishing pass to her. This time looking for Amanda Rocha, and offsides is the call. It was Eleanor Burnett who ran it down. Burnett had that goal against Marin Academy in the second half last week. She nearly had another one, but offsides. 2 goals for Burnett on the year. The senior midfielder in her first year on the varsity rosters made quite an impression. Should be moments away from the first half whistle. Dragons unable to keep it in. They've stayed ambitious all night. There it is. We've reached the end of 40 minutes. No score from Steve Ellison Field. It's the Petaluma Trojans 0, the Sonoma Valley Dragons 0. Head coach Deegan Babola with his Petaluma varsity girls soccer team surrounding him. He was down on a knee with a whiteboard trying to work out plays for Petaluma to try to solve the missing piece and score a goal. Maybe switching sides of the field will help them out. They need a goal tonight and a victory tonight to keep pace with the Gauchos atop the Vine Valley Athletic League. It would be a major dent in their hopes for a league title if they fell tonight. Trojans 8-0-3, 8 victories, 3 draws, 4-0-1 in league. The Gauchos 6-0-1 in league. Petaluma just trying to keep pace with Casa before they play them again next week. If Sonoma was able to get a result out of tonight, they play the Gauchos in their next game on Wednesday. So potentially back-to-back opportunities for Sonoma Valley to do something special. And they've played excellent so far tonight defensively, forcing for the most part Petaluma out wide. Not a lot of great opportunities for the Trojans, and they've not panicked defensively. They really looked out of sorts the first couple minutes. They calmed down. Even got a couple opportunities on the counterattack, and Renee Ball has been terrific in net for Sonoma Valley. She's made a couple saves tonight, and she's helped keep this a scoreless shutout. Ready to go here. 40 more minutes of action. Sonoma Valley and Petaluma. These teams had tight ones last year, and we've got another one here tonight. Gogenauer to her friend Frothinger. Edwards, so technically good with her feet. Looking for Rocha, but Petaluma has really struggled to connect with her right. She's able to run it down, and now she's got some opportunities in the box. Edwards, the reinforcement, mishandles it. It's loose, and ball comes out. There was a whistle. I believe there was a foul. So it's going to be Sonoma Valley free kick. See if the adjustments help Petaluma finally be able to connect. Deegan Babola has pressed all the right buttons, especially this year, to help Petaluma, and they were able to get a late goal on Saturday against a much better team in Marin Academy to get a draw. Trojans maybe more urgently need this victory. I think what helped on Saturday, there was so little pressure. They didn't expect to go in and even get a result against Marin Academy, but it was a good test, good showing for the NCS committee. Why it was put on the schedule for Petaluma, and it turned out working well. Marin Academy had a lot more pressure in that game to win the game. Tonight it might be kind of the upper way around. Sonoma Valley not expected to come in and compete with Petaluma, especially after the Gauchos dominated Sonoma Valley 4-0 when these teams played on the east side, or the Gauchos and the Dragons played on the east side. Sonoma Valley's played free and loose. Petaluma's looked nervous at times, known the moments, or just look last daisical if they're still in their thoughts from Saturday's victory. Been all the signs of a letdown game. So far we've seen them. Goal kick. Trojan defense hasn't had to do too much work. So Petaluma's probably at 70-30 in terms of ball possession. The Dragons already out of the locker room, controlling a lot more of the action here. There's a cool breeze picking up. The temperature has plummeted into the 40s with the sun long gone on this Monday, late January evening. 3 more weeks remaining in Vine Valley Athletic League play. So this marks the halfway point for both teams after this one. The Dragons with options here. There's Guggenhauer just clearing it. Dangerously in. Our shot is way wide right. But still a terrific opportunity. That was the very tall striker for the Dragons, Bella Brophy. She's got a sister on the team too, and Emma Brophy. But the Dragons have come out with the momentum and energy in the start of the second half, and they're getting the chances. Petaluma looks even more sloppy to start here. Tic-tac-toe passing there. Hazel was looking for Guggenhauer. The Dragons have cut down on all the passing lanes. They've excellent game plan going in tonight, reading the passes and been ready. It's going to be Trojan ball. I don't know why the Sonoma Valley player decided to let that go. Frothinger will throw it in. Loose. Cleared. Rocha. Dangerous. Guggenhauer will run it down. She's not at a good angle. Beautiful crossover. Beats one more. She was going to try 3 times to just go right by Sonoma Valley players, but the third Dragon didn't let her. Guggenhauer needed to shoot that. She has the talent. 8 goals on the year. She hasn't scored in a couple games. Maybe it's in her head. Petaluma needs her to score the football. So, such an exceptional finisher. Best on Petaluma. Part of a team that did not have a trouble scoring last year. And for the most part this year hasn't, but the last couple games seen more issues. Frothinger crosses it. Edwards saved by Ball. Excellent build-up by Petaluma. And Renee Ball is having a ball in net so far tonight. She makes another save. Athena Edwards was looking for her second goal. The junior forward will be a Petaluma corner. Trojans giving themselves some chances. Much better build-up. They're not just relying on Rocha out wide. Trying to find other ways to score, other options, methods of offensive production. Hazel, short corner. That was not what they were looking for. Mentioned the new amenities here at Steve Ellison Field, including this was just painted today. Saw them painting it. The Coach Doug Johnson Track Complex. This was renamed last year. I've put that sign up on the back of the baseball scoreboard for Abbey Field. That's just on the other side of that fence, using 2 sides of a sign. Beautiful sign for all the track meets that will be coming up in a couple months here. Ball's going to be tired tonight. Dragons done a nice job finding some rhythm, finding some women on the end of balls. Make this Trojan defense work a little bit more. Petaluma defense that doesn't crack a lot. Mishandled. Looked like Petaluma had Hazel, who's second on the team in scoring this year with 6. She wins it and then is fouled, and there's no call. The ball is loose. It just cleared away. And the refs have not gotten involved at all at this game. We've seen maybe one foul called. They've just been spectators to the action. Wins it. Danger here for Petaluma. It's just fired in. That's not a smart decision. Sonoma Valley hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities. They got to take advantage when they do. Spread it out. Be a little bit more patient. That was rushed. Big boot by Lambert. We saw Rocha almost run through the Dragon defense once before. Not today. Approaching 10 minutes gone in the second half. We're still awaiting our first goal from Steve Ellison Field. Petaluma has only been shut out once all year long in a 0-0 draw to Terra Linda. It looked like they were going to get shut out 2 weeks ago against Casa Grande, but a horrible mistake by Gaucho midfielder Sarah Romstad with less than 2 minutes. Booted it into the back of her own net trying to clear it. And that is why Petaluma is still without a loss on the year. Gogenhauer was looking for Edwards. Edwards is seemingly fouled and there's no call. Well, someone's got to inform the referee that he is allowed to use his whistle if he'd like. Now sent forward for the Dragons, and Ceci's going to do a ball and come out and get it. Frothinger. Petaluma trying to get a little fancy there, but even the Rocha twins were not on the same page that time. Twins normally are. You're so correlated. You're born at the same time. Not very different people often, but especially when you're on the sports field, you often see a similar dynamic. We've seen that with a couple sets of twins last 5 or so years in Petaluma athletics. They work together, push each other harder, know each other well on the court, diamond, track, whatever it is. Dunbar twins come to mind. Hazel's just trying to do it a little bit too much herself. The Dragons just surround her. Some substitutions here. Crysdale getting ready to come back on for Petaluma. 9 seniors, 6 underclassmen, 14 returners on this very experienced Petaluma team. They've dealt with some pressure. They've come back to win before. They had a 3-2 comeback over El Cerrito. They've played from behind at times this year, even though they haven't lost. They know how to win. And they have all the experience and talent to do it. But tonight, a trap game and a very smart game plan by Sonoma Valley has shut down the Petaluma offense. All the Trojans need is one, though. The Dragons only need one, too. Excellent play by Muganum, who re-entered to take it away. Trojans might have a chance at a break here, something they haven't had all evening. Goggenhauer. This Petaluma offense just cannot connect. Everyone is out of sync. The Trojans had a 4-on-3 there. Goggenauer just threw it into the feet of a Dragon defender. They've done an excellent job closing on everything. The moon now high above Ellison Field on the west side of Petaluma, the beautiful purple end zones. We mentioned the new amenities. That includes another sign just put up today, the Ron Welter's press box, the voice of Petaluma. You saw some of the Petaluma supporters as well that have packed in here. Ron Walters, a longtime PA announcer for the football team here, also called some games on the radio. And with the Doug Johnson track complex, it was also the press box renamed the Ron Walters Press Box, a ceremony last May, further coronating and honoring the legends here at Petaluma High at this beautiful remodeled Steve Ellison Field. Rocha. Back to Crysdale. There's some room on the left for Crysdale. She's got some support in the box. Sends it in, but there was no one on the far post. Good build-up for Petaluma. Crysdale with some nice work. But the Trojans, again, just cannot find that last touch. There's been some good saves tonight from Ball, but she hasn't had to be spectacular. She's just been steady and smart. It's not let Petaluma have one. The pressure will be on and will increase as this one gets later and later, as we're approaching 15 minutes gone, 25 minutes remaining in the second half. Lambert, Goggenauer feeds Frothinger. Crysdale. She can shoot. She will. She scores! Charlotte Crysdale from downtown. And Petaluma has finally broke the deadlock. Spectacular from Charlotte Crysdale, and it's 1-0. As Crysdale scores in the 65th minute. The 5th goal for Crysdale. The sophomore midfielder was on the team as a freshman. As Petaluma offense just didn't look like they could have was unable to get a finishing piece, but that time Crysdale just had a little space, was ambitious, and she put it right in the top corner. Ball's been so good all night, but she wasn't able to come up with a save that time. A little bit off her line, too. Good work by this Petaluma offense to keep on trying. It has certainly not been the best night for them, but Crysdale has come through, and Petaluma leads 1-0. Now can the Trojans continue this offensive attack? If they can put a second one in, that would have to be demoralizing for Sonoma Valley, who's fought so well tonight. And though they're probably less talented, less experienced, they've really had a good game plan and really done a nice job. You see this Trojan team has been energized by the Crysdale goal. Crysdale again, and it's off the side of the net. Edwards just trying to get some fancy footwork. That's what you want. Bonnie's in the box right in front of Ball and make chaos happen. Edwards nearly finished. Can Petaluma hold on here? They'll keep pace with the Gauchos if they get a victory tonight, and they'll look forward to Wednesday night at Justin Siena. And the Braves have only won one game all year long. You can't look past any team in the VVAL, but it is similar in many ways, I think, to SCL of last year. The teams at the bottom are not strong. And the Trojans do get some breaks. Rare. Well, VVAL top to bottom for the most part. In most sports, there's a lot of parity a lot of good teams and you don't get any off nights. But the girls soccer team, I think, lucky enough too, and I think it'll be to their advantage. They're going to have fresher legs come the NCS playoffs next month, while other teams playing in tougher leagues might be a little bit more winded. Katrina Rodriguez has just entered for the Trojans, number 2 there. Crysdale looked like she was fouled, but I'm going to have to about punch someone in the face to get the refs to call it. She sends it wide. Rodriguez only a freshman. Good speed. She was warming up before the Crysdale goal, and Coach Didion Babala deciding to put her in anyways. This game being made up from last Wednesday when it was scheduled. Torrential rain knocking out power, including here in the gym in the evening. There was no conditions to play a soccer game. They were smart and hours before the game rescheduled it for today. This MLK 3-day weekend. Lambert just wide. Tessa Lambert didn't have a goal all year long. She's known for her exceptional defense and leadership. A senior co-captain, a 4-year varsity starter. She nearly had a goal that she certainly would have remembered for a long time. Just missed wide. Much better corner by Petaluma. Their goal has no doubt given them some more confidence offensively that they can find the finishing touch a couple more times. Guggenauer. Looking forward, the speedy Herman. Crossing over, and she mishit it. Guggenauer has a goal. She can shoot it from long. She fires wide. This Petaluma team has taken their energy level from a 6 to a 9. And the Sonoma Valley Dragons trying to hold on. And right now, just by the tips of their fingernails. All they need is a counterattack to tie this one up. Trojans want to get some insurance. Dragons brought a lot of energy out to the second half, but we're never really able to challenge Sassy, and it's just so hard. This defense for Petaluma is so sound all over the pitch. And Sassy, a reliable goalkeeper, too. We mentioned how well she's done, especially later in the season. I think she's a freshman. She's developed and gotten better, more confident. And the goalkeeping, such a mental game. Sassy has the brain to be able to stand the rigors of one of the hardest positions, I would say, in all of sports, a soccer goalkeeper. Guggenauer, she can make it from there. Nice job by the Dragons to pressure. She is fouled, and they're going to call it for once. Surprise rippling through both sides of the stands. The Dragons fans didn't like that either. Mentioning Sassy, she's only allowed 5 goals in 11 games, 58 saves, and she's looking for a 7th shutout tonight. Well, the senior Guggenauer and leading goal scorer, give it a go. She will, but she's off the mark. Halfway point exactly, 20 minutes gone in the second half, 20 minutes to go. And Petaluma leading Sonoma Valley 1-0 here in VVAL soccer from Steve Ellison Field in Petaluma. Trojans in purple, Dragons in white. Petaluma looking for their 9th victory of the year. And they move just a half game back of Casa Grande with a W tonight. The Dragons would fall back into 4th place tie with the Vintage Crushers. Rocha to her sister, wide. Didn't look smooth. Petaluma sent a couple wide of that left-hand bar. And Trojans offense goes through the right side and goes through the junior Melissa Rocha. What could happen from there? It would certainly be dangerous for a defense. mentioned, will be here Friday night. Petaluma takes on Vintage. It's one of the better teams in the VVAL in this second tier with Sonoma Valley, and they could certainly give Petaluma a stiff task too. It's going to be their last game before they play the Gauchos. They cannot look ahead against a good Vintage team. Friday night we'll be here, and we'll have that uploaded to the YouTube channel over the weekend, so check that one out. We will not be, unfortunately, at the Petaluma Casa Fair next week, as Rocha goes through a lot of contact, and it's out of play for a goal kick. Next week, it's quite a week. Casa Petaluma facing off on Tuesday night. Boys soccer teams, Casa and Petaluma will collide. The Gauchos won 2-1 with a little bit of controversy, winning on a goal that looked offsides. Petaluma boys soccer team, which has performed well this year, will look for some revenge. At the same time, the girls basketball team will be inside the Casa Grande gym looking to break a 13-game losing streak to the Gauchos. And then Wednesday night, there's going to be even more Casa Petaluma action. The Dragons clear it away. Rodriguez feeds to Goggenhauer. Goggenhauer trying to do it herself. She's got support to her right. She'll use it. Crysdale looking for number 2. A little bit too unselfish. Crysdale had an opening there. Good pressure Petaluma has continued to apply. They have not let up. They are relentless right now offensively, looking for a second one. Wednesday night, it will be a week from Wednesday of this week, will be 3 Casa versus Petaluma affairs in 3 different sports. I'm not sure that's ever happened before. I will be here at Petaluma High School. We'll be live on Trojan Live for Petaluma versus Casa Grande wrestling. Both teams are undefeated currently in the VVAL, and all signs point to next week both Casa and Petaluma being undefeated in league, and that match deciding the VVAL League pennant. Its inaugural year between 2 exceptional wrestling programs. That one's misset by Herman. Petaluma Wrestling looking for their 3rd straight league title after back-to-back SCL titles, and they've had quite a performance the last couple weeks at some tournaments, placing extraordinarily high at some prestigious tournaments with some elite powerhouses. This Petaluma wrestling team might be the best wrestling squad in the entire North Bay, but the Gauchos certainly will have a word to say about that. It should be a great atmosphere. It's going to be in the gym. That's a week from Wednesday. And my good friend and broadcast partner Peter Canale will be at the Casa Grande gym for Petaluma and Casa round 2 of boys basketball. Petaluma is going to hope for a different result than last time. Dragons, really the first opportunity or glimmer of hope since the Crysdale goal 10 minutes ago. I need to start building something and start pushing women forward. Try to get some offense and try to get an equalizer. Petaluma, though, is not going to stop searching for a second goal. Rocha centers it. Crysdale fell. A little bit too fancy. Still a pretty slick turf from all the rain from the last week. There was probably a good 4 inches of rain in the last week. Has left this field awfully wet, even after a beautiful day of sun today. A little too far for Rocha. Under 15 minutes to go here from Petaluma's Steve Ellison Field. It's been a hard-fought, well-played affair tonight. Trojans have looked a little bit underwhelming at times, but a win is a win no matter what. That one nearly went in. Crysdale gave it a go again. She scored 1 from about 20 out. That one was good, another 5 or 10 yards down. She caught ball off her line and nearly buried it. Tomorrow night we'll be back live streaming Petaluma and Sonoma boys basketball from the PHS gym. That game also rescheduled from last Wednesday night due to this storm. And then our next live stream will be that wrestling match next week. We'll also be out here at Steve Ellison Field on Thursday of this week. Petaluma and Vintage varsity boys soccer. Important one for the Petaluma boys team, which started so well, battling through a lot of injuries, sicknesses right now. They surprised Vintage with a draw when they played them last time. We'll look to do the same thing against a very good Crushers team. Herman was fouled, but no call, and Trojans unable to keep it in. We'll give the Dragons a chance to push some bodies up. Their supporters trying to encourage them on. Feels like Petaluma's in control of this one, but all the Dragons need is one moment of brilliance. It's not going to come there. The Dragons can just piece everything together. There's some talent, there's some experience on this team. And got a shot. Currently ranked 17th in NCS Division 3. It's probably a little underseeded, if you ask me. There's definitely some talent on the Sonoma Valley team. They should be in NCS. Especially they've played well and not a bad VVAL. Dragons again push it forward. You just want to get balls into the box and give yourself an opportunity to get one past Sessi. It's out of play. The Dragons unable to control it. They have not had too many opportunities tonight. A couple on the counter. No on-target shots at the talented Savannah Sessi, who's had a much quieter night than on Saturday when she had her career high of 15 saves. Substitutions for the Dragons. Under 12 to go. 1-0. Trojans can just control the ball as they have for much of this game. Are going to be able to run out the clock on a victory. No guarantees. Hard foul. It was Abigail Sanchez, freshman midfielder, who fell. Trojans with only 2 more home matches after this. They're going to be on the road a lot. Vintage is Friday, and then senior night is November. Oh, it's loose! Goggenhauer scores! There's the insurance, Francis Goggenhauer. Adds to her team total, now 9 goals on the season. An excellent cross off of foul. Bodies in the box, chaos. Trojans got a little bit of luck tonight, something they haven't gotten much of. The ball found the right girl at the right time, and all Goggenhauer had to do was bury it in the back of the net. And it's 2-0. The Trojans are in command of this one. The score might not indicate how close this one was. But Petaluma has worked through some adversity, some poor play, some struggles to finish offensively, and been able to find themselves just enough. Crysdale, dangerous all the way across. Herman's going to run it down before it goes out. Goggenhauer looking for 2! Trojans are not stopping keeping the pressure on, and that has really helped them. It's really not given Sonoma Valley a window at all to get anything going in this game. Under 10 to go. A couple substitutions. Rocha's done a yeoman's work tonight. Running on the flank, getting openings for the offense. She's going to finally take a rest. Hernandez Ramirez had a big first half for Petaluma. Can control the ball Trojans some chances, but they really weren't able to find it in the first half. But a much better job in the second half. The Dragons looking to get one back here. This Petaluma defense hasn't allowed any openings at all. It's knocked out. And there's no problem at this point in just clearing it if you're the Petaluma defense. Just let that clock run down. It is certainly your friend. 8 minutes remaining here in the Ellison Field scoreboard. Goggenauer. That one sent way forward. It's not out yet, but the Dragons unable to run it down. Haven't been able to get connections of any sort offensively. This Petaluma defense has been fantastic all year long. Most they've given up 2 goals to El Cerrito, and again they trailed, scored 2 late goals to win. That was one of their more exciting victories of the year and a good victory over another Gaucho team. Otherwise, this defense has only given up 1 or none in goals the whole year. Sessi, Lambert, Rocha, McGannum had a big part of this defense, playing as one together. This aggressive offense puts a lot of one-on-one players on an island, makes it dangerous. So that one's too far for Goggenauer. But they have not cracked under any pressure whatsoever, and that bodes well. As Petaluma will look forward to, obviously, the huge game against the Casa Grande Gauchos next week and the NCS playoffs. Petaluma Girls Soccer has never won an NCS playoff title, but it's certainly an opportunity. But every team is good you play in the playoffs, and, I mean, you could be upset in the first game, or you could go all the way. You never know, especially in a gimmicky game such as soccer, low scoring. You have a couple bad moments, it can cost you. The Trojans have not let their guard down all season long. No losses on the year. That's going to continue here tonight. Not a lot of teams can say that. Crysdale scored in the 55th minute. Goggenauer was able to get the insurance for Petaluma in the 70th minute to make it 2-0. Crysdale from 20 yards out, putting it over the head of Rene Ball, who was so good in the first half, limiting this Petaluma offense. And it was just a loose ball in the box. Goggenauer was able to run it down. It was an easy finish past Ball, who had no chance. Off a very nice set piece for Petaluma, who hasn't been great at set pieces tonight. Had a lot of corners, but not a lot of chances off corners, nor free kicks. Not that there's been too many of them. Starkey's been another senior on the defensive end. It's played well tonight. Dragons trying to push them forward, get one back. They have less than 5 minutes now to do so. Crossed in, Sessi dropped it, open goal! Nice play by Lambert, who deflected it, and if she didn't, the Dragons were going to score because there was a wide open net. Sessi, so reliable for the most part, but that time she just bobbled it. It's cold night, even with the gloves on. Your hands might get a little cold, a little bit lackadaisical, and Sessi did there. Nearly cost her, but we've talked about this Petaluma defense knows how to do it. It's a handball. Trojans are going to get some younger substitutes in, get some playing time. There's plenty of youth on this Petaluma team. Obviously 9 seniors. It'll be a long senior night, but there's Rocha twins will be back for another year, and there's so much underclassmen talent, 6 underclassmen on this team for more opportunities. Ball comes out to clear it. Just Stay tuned after the game for interviews with the stars of the game.
Yeah, Callie, let's go. Let's go, Callie, yeah. Yeah, Callie! Say that you cannot put away your dishes. Please. I know. That's the point.
Sonoma Valley will look to rebound, but they'll have a tough test on Wednesday at Lucchese Park. Official home game for them against Casa Grande. Both teams have 6 more VVAL games to play. And these teams will play again at Lucchese Park in an official Sonoma Valley home game. Will be February 4th, a Monday night. Another one, Dragons and Petaluma penultimate game for both teams on the year. This one fired from way out and wide. Dragons open for some magic.
Yes, Callie. Oh my God.
Here comes some substitutions for Petaluma. I see Grevin in, Sullivan in. Berry as well. We've hit the 2:30 mark here, and the Petaluma supporters will go home happy. They showed up frustrated in the first half. Petaluma struggled to piece things together, able to find it in the second half and solve this tough Sonoma Valley defense. Petaluma will need to do the same thing Wednesday night against Justin Santa, and then Friday against Vintage. We're back home against Casa Grande. Be on the road at Napa, back home, or I'm sorry, at home senior night against Napa, and they'll finish at Sonoma Valley and at American Canyon. NCS playoffs will start the next week, second week of February, and Petaluma will certainly be at home for the first game if they win that, at least for the second game. And it's looking pretty likely, as Barry, the freshman, makes a nice play. Looks pretty likely Petaluma will have home field advantage all the way to the championship game. They're probably going to be a 1 or 2 seed unless things go sideways here, especially if Petaluma can get a result they want against the Gauchos. Trojans also have a non-league game next Monday. They'll be at San Marin in Novato. Coach Babala added some non-league games on. He just wanted more games to impress the committee. Got the highest seed possible at NCS. Having home field advantage so vital in the NCS playoffs, especially where it all comes down to the little minute things in soccer. Playing in your home turf, not having to travel, having that comfort can make a big, big difference. Petaluma was 6th seed last year in the NCS playoffs with mostly a team that hadn't been there before. Blew out Deonza 7-2 in their first game. Fell in a thriller to Kennedy, lost in overtime 1-0. Kennedy went on to lose to Campolindo by 1 goal, and Campolindo went on to win the NCS playoffs over Annalee. And Petaluma, even last year, they drew with Annalee, a team that was the number 1 seed in NCS. Petaluma might take that position. The Tigers lost a lot of seniors from that team, but they'll be also a force in NCS. Miramonte looks like maybe the other top team in NCS along with Petaluma, but there's plenty of depth in NCS Division III girls soccer. It's just not strong as much as the top. Petaluma would not be a 1 seed at all in Division 2 or 4. Trojans clear it away, and then Ceci able to pick up that little chip, and she looks like she's going to be able to record another shutout, her 7th of the season. What a season for the freshman. She's going to be reliable in goal for a long time for Petaluma. Ref just looking at his watch, and we're just awaiting the final whistle here from Steve Ellison Field, with Petaluma leading Sonoma Valley 2-0. Trojans have continued to play hard. Crysdale and Guggenhauer will get the goals tonight. Trojans' conditioning has been good too. They've had a busy schedule. Haven't looked tired. I think it's been more mentally finishing at times. That's been the struggle for them through all the games. Mentally taxing, physically taxing season. Petaluma got a little tired last year, but not so far this year. They haven't let down. Last year had a couple disappointing losses near the end of the year in league. Look like early in the season they might just compete for an SCL title. This year they're right in the mix for a VVAL title. It's Petaluma ball now. Sonoma Valley is hoping to get their own share of action. Athena Edwards has had a nice game tonight. She's had a couple chances. Jordan's just cleared away, and that will do it. A final year from Steve Ellison Field. It's the Petaluma Trojans 2, the Sonoma Valley Dragons 0. Trojans get a big victory over the third-place Dragons and keep pace with Casa Grande atop VVAL. Interviews are next.
We're here with Charlotte Crysdale after Petaluma was able to pull out a 2-0 victory over Sonoma Valley, and your goal broke the deadlock. Take us through that play.
Well, we just have to keep trying, and as long as we take more shots, eventually one will go in, and that's what I just kept doing.
You guys had a big win or big draw on Saturday against one of the best teams in the state in Marin Academy. How hard was that coming back out here just 2 days later? And how were you guys able to finally fight through and get a couple goals?
I think we were really proud of our tie on Saturday because the team on Saturday was really good team. So I think we came out today confident, and I think it really showed out on the field.
You guys haven't lost a game all season long. How have you guys been able to be consistent day in and day out every game in VVAL?
We just keep practicing, and I think as long as we put a lot of effort in, I think the results will show.
You guys are starting to near the end of VVAL play and look towards NCS. What are your guys' goals as you look forward?
I think one of our biggest goals is to beat Casa. But just keep putting in as much effort as we can each game and getting the results.
Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Thank you.
All right, we are here with Tessa Lambert after Petaluma gets a 2-0 victory over Sonoma Valley. On the defensive end, you guys had complete wraps on the Dragons all night. How are you guys able to dictate that?
I mean, they were attacking most of the game, and so I think we have really good communication back there, and most of us are returners. And talking, like, we all know where we're supposed to be and when we're supposed to do it. And, like, with that, we're able to get it out most of the time. And if not, we have Ceci back there, so we're pretty good. Yeah, we got it.
How big has your freshman goalkeeper been? This is her 7th shutout tonight. She's only a freshman, and yet she's been pretty reliable. How much confidence does that give you guys as defenders?
Oh, so much. I mean, she's been a huge addition. We didn't know we'd have a goalie, so it's been huge, and it gives me much more confidence knowing that if I do make a mistake, she will be there as like a second wall, and we love her.
You're one of the 9 seniors on this team. How do you guys use your experience, especially in a game like this where you guys didn't necessarily have your best stuff through the first half and were still able to find a way to win?
I think high school games tend to start out pretty slow, and I think a lot of it's like mental because we know all these players through club and stuff, and so I think, like, using that experience, you need to know that, like, you have to have high intensity the entire game, and you need to be ready to play, and you also need to know that, half the team are, they're all younger, and they're all, slightly less experienced, or new, like freshmen, newcomers, and so, like, having the positive environment and just, like, keeping it upbeat really helps. It's good.
Thank you so much, Tessa.
Thank you.
And it's a wrap here from Steve Ellison Field, where Petaluma knocks off Sonoma Valley 2-0. Charlotte Crysdale with the first goal in the second half. Francis Gogenhauer with the insurance for Petaluma. The Dragons fought hard, but Petaluma a little bit too much experience, a little bit too much talent. Trojan defense was dominant. Petaluma offense, they had to fight through not their best stuff, and coming off a big victory big draw again, big performance against Marin Academy. Wasn't their best performance tonight, but finding ways to win. Petaluma continues to do it, and they keep pace with Casa Grande atop VVAL, and continue to fight their way towards potentially a VVAL pennant and potentially towards the #1 seed in the NCS playoffs or near the top. We'll continue to follow it all along the way, including their next home game this coming Friday as Petaluma takes on the Vintage Crushers. They continue their quest towards a VVAL title. That's going to do it here from Steve Ellison Field. For everyone here at Trojan Live, I'm Griffin Epstein. Once again, the final score, Petaluma 2, Sonoma Valley 0. Good night.